Sarah Fry works by ear.
Most of it is by sound.
And occasionally by eye.
This first one here is a dark-eyed junco. Next one is a Steller's jay. This is a varied thrush.
She has 10 serene minutes to record every bird she hears at this one point in the woods.
10 to 15 species would be a pretty good count for here.
Before taking off to the next spot.
It makes you feel small in this giant national forest that we're in. I did hear a Hermit Warbler on my count. It's a small little songbird that is often way up in the tops of the tall trees here.
It's these tiny warblers, native to the Pacific Northwest, that Sarah and her colleague Matt Betts study.
We have these long-term population monitoring routes across the Northwest, and a surprising number of species are declining. Actually, more than about half of the species that live in forests like this are in decline.
Part of the reason is climate change. Rising temperatures can shrink where some birds can live and where they can find food. In some places, the number of hermit warblers has been declining up to 4% each year. But using decades' worth of these bird counts, they've determined something new.
In landscapes that had more older forest, their population declines were lowered or even reversed. Their populations do better in landscapes with higher amounts of old-growth forests.
And this differs from landscapes that have been clear-cut logged and replanted, as well as other younger forests. Old-growth habitat perform better than even the most mature tree plantation. Matt and Sarah don't know why, but one answer may lie in the trees themselves.
Nothing twisted. Clippers, bags.
And to understand the trees, researcher Adam Sibley needs to get very friendly with the tree tops.
All of a sudden you punch through all the canopy that's been surrounding you and you're out with vistas. It's just really awesome.
Adam studies how trees like this 500-year-old Douglas fir interact with the climate. He clips branches to learn how they transpire or sweat to cool themselves down when it's hot and dry.
I definitely feel like I've transpired quite a bit once I'm up at the top. The climber's third hand. Sorry, Mom. The higher you get, the more you can hear the stream, the more you can hear the bird calls. You've got the wind blowing around you. So we're up in the critical zone for these trees. This is the part that we need to understand if we want to understand how climate change is going to impact these forests, and in particular these trees, which are creating all the good structure below in the microclimates that the birds prefer and are using as a refuge from hot temperatures.
The instruments on this tree show that the layers of this massive fir create their own mini climate zones. They can help reduce the temperature in the forest about 5 degrees.
My best guess, if we want this thing to pan and tilt anymore, is that we're going to have to take the whole assembly down and rebuild it.
Okay.
So in a patch of old growth like this that hasn't been disturbed for at least 400 years, we've got all different levels of woody debris, duff buildup, mosses and lichens, which all sort of sponge up water.
It stays cooler in the heat of the day and warmer at night. And this seems to be key as the climate outside the forest becomes more extreme.
Insects, mammals, and bird species have more options to find where they're happiest or where they have the best chance of success.
It's still unknown, though, exactly how birds like the hermit warbler are taking advantage of this.
With the spool, I'll hold this part. Can you go over to that
hemlock.
And that's where Han-Kyu Kim comes in. He's helping develop a new study to track the daily movements of the birds.
That's open. We're basically asking birds for some help.
By playing on their baser instincts.
These birds are territorial in the breeding grounds. They set up their territories and they fight with each other to defend it. Speaker on.
And now they wait for the angry bird to start protecting its nesting territory from the suspiciously stoic intruder.
Remember, this guy was one more aggressive one.
Hermit warblers breed here, but migrate thousands of miles to winter feeding grounds in Mexico and Central America. These journeys drew Han-Kyu to this work.
It just amazed me that these tiny birds can migrate so long distances, and they rely on these small spots in Earth to survive. So I think this can go a little further there.
And they wait a little more.
Another win for the decoy. I didn't think we were going to get it after all those bounces.
Yeah, it's very aggressive individual.
Han-Kyu has set up a makeshift tagging station on the edge of the forest.
It's really beefy, very aggressive,
Yeah.
and really dark. 53 for tail. And there's a transmitter ID is I think 12.
Okay. 12, frequency 357.
Right. It's an eyelash glue.
For gluing
Gluing.
fake eyelashes on. If it works on people, I guess, to hold your eyelashes on, then
For a month.
works on the skin of birds too.
Mm-hmm.
It's non-toxic.
So let's,
Test out the frequency.
he's definitely
Beeping.
beeping. We have signal.
That's good.
Should I let him go?
The next afternoon, it's the big test. Han-Kyu, Matt, and Adam Hadley push deep into the woods.
What's the reading of the signal strength?
He's moving.
Yeah, it's going away from us. It's very sensitive to being directly on it. Moved further back. When you guys started coming over, now he just got a lot further away.
They think hermit warblers move around the forest over the course of a day to find food and comfort.
Given the differences in temperature across the whole height of a tree, it's possible that when it's warmer, they may be only using the bottom and more shady parts of the trees, versus in the cooler parts of the day, maybe they're using them all the way to the top. I think I've got him in the top of a tree here.
It was strong a few seconds ago, and
Oh, there he comes. I'm gonna try to get fully underneath it.
But they can't know for sure unless they can figure out how to track the warblers through this dense forest.
so by following them with telemetry, we can tell where they are in the canopy and also horizontally across space what sort of forest they're in, and relate that to temperature data that we're logging at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not getting the strongest signal at the top of the tree. Seems to be a bit stronger in the mid canopy.
Yeah, I think this is going to work pretty well, Adam.
The ultimate goal here is to understand how climate change is affecting native species.
Don't see it likely that hermit warblers will have air conditioning anytime soon.
But the warblers in the Cascades have one thing going for them we can definitely control.
We have the opportunity to promote the conservation of some of these species, such as the hermit warbler, by maintaining this old growth that we've got here in the Pacific Northwest.
If we can do that, the benefits could be as impressive as the trees themselves.